What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is Wednesday, December 29th, and today we are going to be talking about how to achieve sustainable fat loss. Don't mind my hands. I put on self-tanner this morning. Tropical Bronze by Ross's Self Tanning. It's my favorite. No, I'm not affiliated with them, but obviously I love the way it looks, so I'm gonna tell you that's what it is. Anyway, sustainable fat loss is something that I help a lot of my clients with. Not all of my clients are bikini prep clients, although I do have a special place in my heart for that, but most of my clients are lifestyle clients looking to lose a little fat, gain a little muscle, maybe reverse diet a little bit. Yeah, so there are a couple steps that you need to take if you want to achieve fat loss that's sustainable. A lot of what you see on social media is like, lose 5 pounds in 3 days, or, you know, everybody wants to be a competitor now and compete. So a lot of what we see as quote-unquote normal isn't really maintainable or sustainable. It's temporary. And I'm actually really excited to talk about this today because I don't get to talk about it a lot. I'm a bikini competitor. My Instagram, you know, focuses on my journey as a competitor and a mom and balancing all of that and my clients and their successes. So I'm really excited to talk about this today. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously have a goal, and you're going to want that goal to be realistic, and you're going to want to be able to reach it in a reasonable amount of time. So you guys have all heard of short-term goals and long-term goals. So a good short-term goal would be something like, I want to lose 5 pounds in a month. So that's like 4 weeks. A realistic long-term goal would be, I want to lose 20 to 30 pounds in a year. Or if you're going at a reasonable weight loss, which is half a pound to a pound per week, that could even be more than that in a year. But that's just an example, because you want something realistic. Like I said, something like, I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, that's not really realistic. And when you end up not reaching it, you're just gonna let yourself down. You're gonna be sad, you're gonna be upset, you're gonna be frustrated, and that doesn't help you want to keep going. So your goals need to be realistic. Even if it's do 2 pull-ups unassisted, that's a good short-term goal. So you want to have realistic short-term and long-term goals that can be reached in a reasonable amount of time. So once you have those goals, the second thing you need to do is decide how you're going to track your progress. So are you going to count calories? Are you going to track macros? Are you going to take progress photos every week? Maybe you're going to weigh yourself once a week. Maybe you're going to weigh yourself every morning and take the average of all your weights for the week. As far as calories versus macros, that's really up to personal preference. Personally, I track macros. I like knowing what's in my food specifically as far as carbs, proteins, and fats go. I like the numbers. It's fun to me. I like playing like macro Tetris and trying to figure out what all I can fit in during the day. Like, that's fun to me. But some people, that's too much. That's too overwhelming. And they do better just tracking calories, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you just have to figure out what works for you in those terms as far as nutrition goes. And then as far as how you're going to track your progress, that's really the same deal. I take progress photos and I weigh myself a couple times a week. I think progress photos are probably the best way to judge progress, because the scale and like waist measurements, they're not always the best judge. I want to say judge of character, but that's not what I mean. You guys know what I mean. They're not always the best judgment of progress. They're not always the best. They don't always give you the big picture. Let's put it at that. They don't always give you the big picture. So I definitely recommend progress photos to keep track of your progress. Scale weight is helpful here and there, especially for those of us who are online coaches. If my clients can handle it, I do have them weigh themselves once a week. If they're kind of iffy about the scale, and I've been there, I am still there sometimes where the scale weight bugs me. I won't have them weigh themselves, but it can be helpful as long as you don't take it the wrong way. So you have to just kind of be very self-aware and know that any numbers are not a weight of your worth. I don't know if I'm wording that the way I want to, but a number does not determine your worth. And I'm shaking the camera because I'm on my phone now. Anyway, yeah, so a number doesn't determine your worth, and you just have to kind of be aware of that. So as far as the scale goes, pros and cons, obviously, like I said, if mentally you can't handle it, that's obviously a con, but there are pros. If you weigh yourself every morning, you're going to see those fluctuations, and you're going to get to know a lot about your body and how your weight fluctuates day to day based on how much water you drank or didn't drink, how much food you ate or didn't eat. Your sodium intake could vary day to day, and that could affect it. By taking an average of all those weights, you're getting closer to what your true weight would be. Personally, I just weigh myself like 3 times a week, and I take like check-in day as my weight for the week. That's just me, because I don't want to know what I weigh every day. Like, I'd rather not, and I don't want to step on the scale every morning. With my past, I'm not about it. So yeah, you're going to want to choose 1 or 2 methods as a way to track your progress. You could even get those like skin calipers that tell you what your body fat is. You could go get your body fat tested. There's DEXA scans and all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of different ways to track your progress. Just pick 1 or 2 and use that. Be consistent about it. Do it on the same day, every week, same time of day. Usually before you eat or drink anything for the day, and after you go to the bathroom. That's the best time to take your progress photos, do your weigh-ins, take your measurements, whatever you choose to track your progress. That's when you're going to do it. Okay, so now that we got all those beginning things covered, now the fun stuff. So we're going to start with exercise and training. You are obviously going to be doing something you enjoy doing. For me, that's weightlifting. I love weightlifting. I love the way it makes me feel. I love the challenge. I love everything about it. But maybe weight training isn't for you, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There was a gnat. Not everyone is into weight training, and that's a-okay. Totally fine. If you like doing yoga, Pilates, the home videos, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, do that, because then you're going to stick to it. If you try to do something you don't like, you're going to end up hating it. You're not going to want to do it, and then a couple months in, maybe even just a couple weeks in, you're going to give up. Say, screw this, I'm done, it's not worth it. So find something you enjoy. And once you do that, I'd recommend doing whatever type of exercise you're doing a couple times a week, 3 to 5 days a week, anywhere in there. So once you've got a routine down as far as whatever type of exercise you're doing goes, you're going to want to obviously make sure you're doing some cardio to keep your heart healthy, keep your lungs healthy. It's just good for your overall health, and it'll also help you lose fat. As far as cardio goes, I'd say start with 10, 15 minutes, maybe 3 times a week, and go from there. If you're not doing any cardio, you're going to see some big changes with that. So, yeah, just start there, go from there. Once you've got your cardio and your training going, this is where the fun starts, because now you get to start tracking your progress and making those little adjustments each week to make sure that you continually see progress. So say you just started your training regimen and it's a week later, you took your progress pictures, you took your weigh-ins or your measurements or whatever progress tracking, I'm losing my breath, whatever progress tracking method you decide on, and you lost, let's say you lost a pound and your measurements are down half an inch around your waist. That's awesome. So you don't need to make any changes. You're good to go. Keep going and reevaluate the next week. So this is where what I'm going to talk about next comes in. So if you're in this first category, hold on 1 second. We're getting to it. Now, say the first week goes by, you take your progress pictures, you do your other method of tracking your progress, and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. So now you're going to need to make a few adjustments. You're going to want to drop your calories or macros a little bit and increase your cardio a little bit. I usually recommend upping cardio by 5 minutes when you haven't seen progress, and dropping calories or macros by anywhere from 50 to 100 calories. If you track macros, you can figure out what that is. You can take it away from either your carbs or your fats. I never recommend changing protein. So yeah, I would make those changes and then again reevaluate the next week and see if any changes were made. So bottom line, at what I'm getting at here is, if you haven't seen any changes in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, whatever it is, when you haven't seen any changes, make small adjustments. Add more cardio, decrease caloric intake, and roll with it for a week and see what happens. Reevaluate the next week. If you see changes, awesome, then you don't need to make any changes again. If you don't see changes, which you should, but if you don't, then make some more changes. By making small adjustments each week, instead of just like rapidly dropping all the calories and trying to do like hours of cardio, you're slowly adjusting your body to this new level of caloric intake, outtake, and continuing to see progress is going to be easier for you because you're not going to get burned out as quickly. Because you all know, you've all seen it, we've all talked about it, when we're deep in prep for a bikini competition, we're irritable, we're hungry, we're tired, we're doing lots of cardio, eating very little. And like, obviously that's not what the average person is going to have to do to just reach a sustainable fat loss goal, but the same principles apply when you're cutting, when you're trying to lose fat. You're eating less, you're doing more cardio, you're gonna be tired quicker, faster, you're gonna be more tired, however you want to say it. I can't word today, guys, but I wanted to film this. Anyway, yeah, so you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be hungry. It's just a fact of life. Like, that's just what happens when you're trying to lose fat. And you don't have to be starving, but you are going to be a little hungry. I don't know what else to say. You deal with it and you reach your goal, which we'll talk about in a minute, or you don't deal with it and you don't reach your goal. I'm very blunt. I'm sorry. So those are the basic steps of how to achieve a sustainable fat loss. And the bottom line here is, guys, you have to be patient. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. You're not going to want to get up and go to the gym every day. There are going to be days where you're going to want to eat 5 cupcakes, and I'm saying cupcakes because there's a bunch of chocolate cupcakes right here that you can't see that my sister made for Thanksgiving, but they're chocolate, so I don't like them and I don't need to eat them. Anyway, you're going to want to go over your calories or macros, whatever it is that you choose to do. You're going to want to drink alcohol, and we're not even going to get into that because bottom line, you just have to be patient. It takes time. Everything takes time. Everything in life you have to be patient with. And I'll admit, I'm not the most patient person. But patience is key. And we're on to the next one. Once you reach your goal, once you've leaned down to however lean you want to be, once you've lost those last 5 to 10 tricky, sticky pounds that you swore would never go anywhere, but you made it happen, what do? How do you keep it going? Because this is where the whole title of the video comes in. Sustainable fat loss. This is what it's all about. Once you reach your goal, you're excited, you're happy, you're like, yeah, I just lost all this weight. And then you go out and celebrate. And maybe you have a couple drinks. Maybe you have a piece of cake. Maybe you have a giant ass burger and sweet potato fries. Because that's what I had after my competition. That's my favorite meal ever. You're probably like, I can eat anything I want now because I lost that weight. And then you're going to gain the weight back. Here we go. Sustainable fat loss. So, you go out, you celebrate, you have a meal, enjoy yourself because you deserve it. You definitely deserve it. And I'm sure you've had free meals along the way because as a coach who has helped people with sustainable fat loss before, I allow my clients to have free meals. Like, it keeps you sane. So you definitely want to have like a free meal every now and then. Anyway, now, you obviously don't want to keep doing the same amount of cardio. You obviously don't want to continue to eat less. So how do you get your metabolism back up but maintain what you worked so hard for? This is where the concept of reverse dieting comes in. And I, honestly, as challenging as reverse dieting is, I love it. I love the science behind it. I love the principle of it, the idea of it. You keep what you worked for, but you get to eat more food. Magic. Rob's freaking out. Anyway, so the same principles apply as when cutting. You're going to judge your progress week by week. To start out, you're going to, well, I would recommend dropping cardio by 5 minutes per session and increasing your food by 50 to 100 calories, depending on, again, whether you're tracking calories or macros. But yeah, anywhere from 50 to 100 calorie increase. And obviously continue your exercise regimen as you were before. Same intensity, volume, etc. All that. So your first check-in comes around and let's say your weight stayed the same and your measurements stayed the same. That's awesome. And then you get to add more food in. But if your weight goes up and your measurements go up, or whatever method of progress tracking that you chose, if that changes in an upward scale, then you want to keep things the same for another week and let your body continue to adjust. Because once your body adjusts and regulates, you'll probably see those numbers go back down, and then the next week when you do your check-ins, you can add more food, decrease cardio by like 5 to 10 minutes, and just continue with that week by week. So you would continue in that pattern until you reach whatever your new maintenance is. And once you reach your new maintenance, then you can kind of stay there for a little if you want and hang out in that comfort zone, or you can continue to slowly increase your food as long as you're okay with seeing, you know, the scale go up a little, seeing your body change a little bit. Hi. And then you would enter kind of a bulking phase, but not really, because I imagine you're probably going to continue along the same like slow increase until you've reached a point where you're comfortable with maintaining, if that makes any sense. And there's Liam.
It's a baby, look. Look.
So that is how I go about sustainable fat loss with my clients, and I hope you guys got something out of all of my rambling, because I feel like I rambled a lot, but if you watch my channel then you know that's what I do. Anyway, I hope you guys got something out of that. I would like to do a video about how to figure out your macros. Well, I do have an ebook for that, but I'll do a video on it too at some point, because I feel like that could be a beneficial kind of part of this whole sustainable fat loss video. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel for more baby! More baby. It's like more cowbell, but it's cuter. Okay. There you go. I'll see you guys in the next one.